Mud. When I was a child, I would often come home from nursery covered in the stuff. Rolling around, reenacting wrestling moves with my kindergarten crew, my mother, bless her, would usually dread coming to collect me at the end of the school day, as you would normally bet the house on the likelihood of me ruining another fresh set of clothes. Now, being an adult, well, sort of, allegedly, it would be unwise for me to continue such a tradition. However, there is a way I can still enjoy some mud-based action without the fear of my mother breaking a wooden spoon on my brown buttocks. Yes, rallying! Now, the vegetarians and vegans among you will be frowning your pokey little faces because this is the beef stew of motoring, with the cars being the beef and the mud being the stew. And besides that, it's also the theme for today's head-to-head, as we pit the Ford Focus RS WRC edition against the John Cooper Mini Cooper S. Let's find out who will be king of the mud. Okay, so first up to attempt this specialist rally stage is the Mini Cooper S, the lovable favourite amongst many drivers here in the United Kingdom. And because of this, I've taken the liberty of dressing it in its original British racing green and its customary set of Go Faster stripes on the hood. One can only assume they'll act as boosters, propelling John Cooper's pride and joy to victory. Big power slide as we enter the first corner there, a bit of oversteer but gathered together nicely. Now, the John Cooper Works was debuted by the Mini World Rally Championship team during the 2011 World Rally Championship season. It was sort of like a second coming because it's the first rally car to bear the Mini label in top level rallying since the 1960s. And looking at it, you can see how it takes many of its design cues from its older cousin. 60, up into third gear. 70, gathering pace. 80. Now these days, Mini is owned by BMW of Germany. Now, the M Sport division have focused on high power delivery over top speed, and as such, they've treated this car to a punchy 1.6 litre turbocharged power unit, 172 brake, and 0 to 60 time of 6.5 seconds. Yes, it is down on power compared to the RS, but the performance you get aided with the perfectly tuned suspension means you can actually exert more power on entry into the corners and even begin accelerating when you're halfway through that very same corner on exit. And when you take into consideration just how slippery the surface is, plus there is no all-wheel drive system to bail us out, it makes the accomplishment all that more impressive. And oh, massive drift! I very nearly lost the back end there as we make our way past the Gypsy Caravan, the Mini holding its own as we prepare ourselves for Bourne's leap of faith. Nailed it! Now we take the tightest line possible as we approach the tunnel. Nicely done. Beautifully taken corner there. It's all coming together nicely and shaping up to be a very quick time. However, most of this section is flat out, and if the Mini is going to lose time anywhere, it's more than likely to be here. Vandalising the fence as we throw ourselves through the penultimate checkpoint. The Mini with the spirit of its past, the spirit of its cousin on its shoulders. Come on, wee fella! 2 minutes 12.037, a great effort. That's the time to beat. Now, I admit, the style I have chosen for the RS makes it look somewhat like an Air Max running shoe designed by Nike. But none of that matters, okay? Because in my mind, as it was with the Mini, those stickers will somehow make me go faster. I'm not sure how, but it will, I hope. Approaching the first corner, killing as much speed as possible, and surprisingly as close to perfect as you can get. The Focus RS WRC is a car built for the Ford World Rally team by Ford Europe in conjunction with M Sport. It seems to me that BMW have been sticking their fingers in various pies at the dinner table. Now, when you talk about prestige and pedigree, the names Audi Quattro and Lancia Stratos spring to mind. But you cannot have such debates without bringing this car into the equation. And what's that ahead? Oh, Bambi! It's Bambi, ladies and gentlemen! We have been ambushed by the cast and crew of Walt Disney. Talk about close shave. Now, back to what I was saying. You see, the Focus RS is a celebrity. It was in competition from 1999 to 2010, winning an astonishing, mind-boggling 44 world rallies and back-to-back manufacturer world titles in 2006 and 2007 before it was replaced by its niece, the Fiesta RS. Now, as you share my view through the windshield, you'll notice on the left hand side I fitted an asthma pump to my RS because birds! We've been ruined by the birds. I don't believe this. It's Groundhog Day for nature. Past Gypsy's Caravan, the RS carries the same capacity engine as the Mini, but an improved 6-speed sequential gearbox. Born to leap of faith? No drama whatsoever as the car remains stable all the way through the tunnel section. The RS does have an all-wheel drive system to help you out, but the trade-off is the added weight on top of the already beefier body compared to that of the works Mini Cooper. Not far to go now as we advanced over this crest, and just as I was talking about its stability, famous last words, gentle drift around this left-hander, and yaks, moose, oxes, trying to stop the RS, but it's all in vain because the Ford has the bloodline of a champion. The heritage of the RS has victory in its DNA. And 500ths of a second! It was only right that for a race this close, we go back and see where it was won and lost, courtesy of the Born 1.5 side-by-side cam. Now, going into that first corner, you can see the Focus RS reaping the immediate benefits of that all-wheel drive system as it was able to handle the sharp opening corner with ease. The Mini Cooper, on the other hand, struggled to keep its feet on the ground, costing it time right from the off as it slithers round the corner like a belly dancer in an Irish market trying to get money off me. Again. Despite of this, as we advance through turn 3 and down to the first checkpoint, we can see that the gap is still fairly close as both cars try to take on the uphill twists and turns in the early stages of the course. Look at that mud splattered across the back of both cars already. I have to give credit where credit is due, as both the RS and the Cooper S managed to keep it together somehow. But as I slow the footage down again, we can see that despite Bambi trying to cause us grief, even he wasn't able to stop the RS Focus increasing its lead over the Mini. Now it's hard to pick out why at this stage, but I did notice that the RS's gear ratio seemed much tighter and shorter than that of the Mini, giving it more power in the lower rev ranges. The back end of the Focus looking like a burnt banana as the weight of the car causes it to oversteer as we come towards the bridge. The Mini, by comparison, remaining poised, remaining planted, remaining focused. No pun intended. As we switch to the cockpit view, we can now see the dancing feet of the Mini have allowed it to close the gap and for a fraction of a second even pull ahead. The RS still power sliding, but power being the key word here. As I mentioned, both cars are using the same power unit deployed by BMW. The Mini is lighter, but that is cancelled out by the sequential 6-speed transmission system developed by Ford Europe. It's about the delivery of the power rather than the full output, as is evidently on display here. Through the next checkpoint, we can see that these two are like Siamese twins. You'll be at your wits' end trying to separate them. The Mini, the sleeping giant from the 60s. The RS, the multi-award winning double world champion. It's Mud Mania, Mud Mayhem. Both cars duking it out, leaving nothing on the track. With the finish line in sight, as we slow the camera down one last time, we can see it's the Mini. It's the Mini, which has managed to get its nose in front and edge the lead.